from Tacistudio, and today is Friday, July 28th, and I am here to share another short video with you. As I had mentioned a few times, I have a journal, and now I decided to actually do two knitting journals because I saw several people that have their journals. I have done my journals for about I think I started in 2006, so for about 15, 16, 17 years. I can't really remember, but I have changed over time of what I do. I used to just put little drawings and maybe sometimes a sample of my journal, of the yarn that I was using, and I used to do that by month. I still do this, and I still every month put a little bit of it would be for me a 2-page where I have an idea of what I needed or crochet, and sometimes I used to put my embroideries in there also on those 2 pages. However, while I was watching the podcast for Sarah from It's a Sarah, I saw that she does her journals mostly about the projects that she does, and she keeps all the information about each project that she does. And I decided that I'm going to do that also. However, mine, I am going to do just I'm going to journal just the projects that I make modifications, or I made changes, or that I make in a special way that just is more specific to how a project or a pattern fits me, or whoever the person that I'm making that for. And so today I'm going to show you the journals, and I'm going to well, let me say, I'm going to show you the journals, and I am going to show you some of the projects that I'm doing and why I made some of the changes, just so this way you can understand why and how I do these journals. The first part, I'm going to show you this journal, which is actually one of my very favorite journals that I got, which my cousin, she also has a YouTube channel, and she puts tutorials about how to make lots of different paper projects. And she actually made this one for me this year, and I'm completely in love with it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to show you the whole journal and how I'm doing it this time, but and I will also put on the show notes a link to her YouTube channel, so this way you can also see the kind of projects that she makes. A lot of people asked me where I got this one, and then really liked it when I mentioned a few times, so I wanted to make sure I put the information there for you to go check. Sometimes she sells them, and we are doing a market this year in August, and if you live in Portland, Oregon, and you're interested in going and seeing what we have, it's gonna be myself. I'll have some of my knitting things that I have mentioned to you before, like I make these little tins with all kinds of different things that you need for crocheting, for knitting. I had a lot for embroidery also, but those I'm not going to really be making anymore, but I will continue to make the crochet and knitting. I have little tins for different stitch markers and a couple other things, and she will have all of the paper goods that she makes for her videos. She's gonna be selling that. Another one of my cousin makes ceramics, and she will be having that also. So if you live in Portland, Oregon, and you'd like to get information about that, it's going to be on August 12th, and I will put information down on the show notes, but also leave me a comment, because I could send you detailed information or send you a flyer. But now I'm going to switch to you won't be seeing me, but I will be showing you all of the details that I have on my journals. I hope that you enjoy, and I hope that this inspire you to maybe start your journal or change a little bit like Sarah inspired. So here we are, and I thought I started this in 2006, but I think it looks like I could only find the one that I started in 2013, and this was a book that my kids gave to me for either Christmas or my birthday, and I used to just make notes, and especially make notes when it was a project that I did without a pattern. A lot of these things were just like I would write on a little note thing, and then I would put on here, and then some of the ideas that I had also, and then I started putting also the yarn that I used, and then I went from this here, I went to a little bit nicer one that I saw. I was inspired by Lori from Lori times 5. She hasn't been really posting on Instagram anymore, but she had in several places she had she always made journals, and she loved making them out of fabric. She actually had several different times in which she had them on magazines, and I was really inspired by that, and I did this cover and embroidered a little bit, and I sewed it and cover a book that I had. So then I started to do about the same thing that I used to do before, but now I started doing more as every month. So when I had a project for that month, I would just write each project but I only wrote what I had done on that month, and then which size of needles and so on and so forth. And 2017 I did about the same thing, and I did not really write a lot of details about the project itself. It was more just for me to have a record of what I had done that month. This was through 2016 and 19, and in 2020 I actually did not do very much. I put a plan of what I wanted to do, and I started doing the project, but writing a little bit more information. But I also have a lot that is still needs to be done, and that I just, but I also included my embroidery projects, because I was doing a lot of embroidery in 2021 and 2022. So some of them I still need to color and finish for this project, for this year. And now this year, like I said and told you, I decided to, I asked my cousin if she would actually make these ones for me, because I'm not very good at working with the papers, and I spend a lot of my time knitting, crocheting, and embroidery, as you know, but I really like her work. So she made this one for me, and I started doing what I was doing before. And if you can see, I asked her to use watercolor paper in case I wanted to do some coloring and everything. She also put some ephemeras here that I can add to my pages if I want to, and it just makes it so cute and so colorful. So I started with a plan of what I was going to do and what I was hoping to do this year. Some of it has changed along the ways, because when you find new projects or you see new ideas, then I have space to add the ideas here if I have, or if I change my mind and I want to do something else. Then what I do with this one is I try to make this one a little prettier, and every month I put the information. If I don't have a picture, which I don't really have pictures, I'm not a very good drawer at all, but I like to just draw, and some days my kids or my grandkids will see this, and I think they will enjoy to see how much of a not a very good drawer their grandma or great grandma was, and still insisted on drawing, right? But I put the yarn label here. If I have more than one, then I will use on the other knitting book that I'm making. And this I do 1-2 page a month. So this is February. I also drew a cardigan that I started and decided to stop, and then I'm going to make it again, probably hopefully this fall, but I just did not I did not like the colors I had. So I think I've talked to you before about this, and I changed what I was going to do. And I have, my cousin has this cute little stamps, and I like to stamp in there also, but I put the label and a little sample of the yarns, and I've been trying to do this for every month. And I write the yarn that I used, when I started, when I finished. Sometimes it's not here yet, but that's what I try to do. And I do this for every month, and I just try to keep a sample of the yarn. And some of them I still have to put the yarn here because I haven't finished the project yet, so I don't take any of the yarn until I have finished the project, because sometimes I don't know if I'm going to need a tiny little piece of that yarn, right? So and here is May, and I also sometimes write down the reason why I chose to do some projects. Like this Saturday shrug, I decided to use the Fibonacci equation, so I write down what the Fibonacci sequence is in here, so I will remember later why I chose that, or whenever one of my family member or somebody that gets this see it will know the reasoning behind me choosing a specific thing. This is the bag that I made in June that I really loved, the dumpling bag from Pro Soho, so I put the picture in there, and I write down that I had been wanting to do that. I still want to get a picture of my pattern, the rose fingerless mitts that I actually published on Ravelry in June, but I will have a picture here later, because I'm going to do a promotion in the beginning of this fall. And here, this month was actually pretty full in June, so I needed to use a second page, because apparently I was hoping to be more monogamous, and in June I decided to cast on a whole lot of different stuff, and so I had to use a second page for it. And it's okay with me. I don't have specific rules that it has to be at a certain way. So, and in here I had asked her to put something in the middle of the year, so when I start the second part of the year, I already have a few things that I have prepared for when July ends so I can do those 2 pages. But I also had this very last page, and I made a list of what I actually accomplished and finished. And that makes me feel a little bit accomplished with the projects that I have actually finished. So this is the journal that I have that I do for monthly. But as I told you, I have now started a different journal, and my cousin was traveling, so I could not start on another one that she had made for me. And this other one, I'm going to be more it's going to be more of a practical journal, because I'm going to be writing while I do the projects. So I just got a journal at Michael's for this one, and I love putting stickers and pictures also in here. So this was my idea of what I was going to probably do this year, and I have revised and have not yet put it really pretty or cute in here. I don't write on the journal because this is like a revolving door that it keeps on changing. But this is actually what I have been working on, and I'm making a list as I go of what I have been working on. So now I'm gonna show you what I did. Is after I saw this journal is inspired by Sarah from It's a Sarah's Journal. And so what I did is, after I saw hers, I also saw that she had a list of all the yarn weights and the needle that you usually use for that. And I thought that was kind of clever and kind of nice, because sometimes then it gives me an idea if I am going to knit something that I want to be a little bit tighter, then I can knit with a 7, but if not, I can knit with an 8 or a 9, or for me to know how best to get gauge for my the way that I knit. So the first thing that I put in here, I don't have the project itself to show you because I did not I gave most of them as a gift, and my husband couldn't find his, which is the one that I have here in our house, because being that it's summer right now, he put all of his winter clothes and accessories away. But I have showed pictures before, and I can put a picture on the video for you to see how the hats were. And I only wrote here because I made a few modifications for one of the hats and I changed the yarn, so I wrote that in here. Keep in mind that this journal is really not completed because I left space, for example, for when I did the Sophie scarf for myself, and I'm just writing when I started, when I ended them. This is one of the Sophie scarves. I have shown it to you before, and that was done with the ritual dye yarn. And this is the second one that I made for myself, and I have shown in another one of my podcasts also. And I have to still finish the information. I left a couple pages, not a page, because I know I'm going to be making a lot more of those. So I want to have space here to put the information on the other ones that I make. This one here I wrote also because these are my Saturday shrugs, and you have seen this one, and this is the one that I made the modification and I decrease here, so I wrote the information here. But I also wanted to have a record of, for example, this one I made no modifications, but I used the, I wanted to have a record of the yarn that I used and what kind of stripes and how many rows I did between each one. So that's the information I'm going to put in there also. And the same with this one that I used the Fibonacci. So I'm going to put the modifications and all the amount of stitches and rows that I had for each one of them. So this was my Saturday shrugs, and I left an extra page because I know I'm going to be making so many of them. This one I have not written in there yet, but I wanted to have on this book because these are, I was inspired to make these kitchen scrubbies by Leslie Friend from A Friend to Knit With podcast, and she also has an Instagram, and she makes these ones which are knitted, and she also has information about the pattern. I'm gonna write all this information here, but I also made some single ones that are crochet ones, and I made double crochet ones, which means that I make two of this and then put them together. And I'm gonna write the notes for this one because I actually didn't use anybody's recipe or pattern. So, and I'm gonna write down so I remember how I connected them together. So that's pretty much the information that I want to write in there on this one. And I also started my simple stripe sweater, and I did not finish because I went on to making the one that I'm going, and I also started this sooty shirt, but I went on to make what I'm going to show you, which is my last one, which is what I'm working on, which I feel that it's the one that has the most information. This is a paid for pattern, but I just wanted to show you that I keep the pattern with me here because that helps me to be able to refer to what I was supposed to do and where I'm at in the pattern. But I have a sample of the yarn that I'm using, which is from the Lamb and Kid, the trio, and I keep following all the information and directions, and I'll put the modifications that I made as accent, one with an accent, so I know that those were the modifications I made for that. I also and this journal actually made me realize, and I wanted to show you before I say that this is the mini mock tank neck, mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made, and I am very proud of myself because I made a lot of progress, and I think I will be able to finish this by next week. So I'm very excited about it, and that's the one that I worked on here. I also, as I was saying, having this journal made me realize actually how many work in progress I have, because I was really trying to be monogamous, but apparently I can't. And also it's really hard because there are some projects that I can only do, like when I'm watching TV, I prefer to do something that I'm not having to think a lot. So right now, both these socks and the mini mock tank, those are in a place that I just have to knit, so it's much easier for me to watch a movie or do something, or if we are going somewhere I can just pick up that project and work on it a little bit. So my objective with having this on this project was on this journal is because I made some modifications that is going to be and make the socks perfect for myself. I am using okay, I just completely spaced out, but I'm using Summer Lee. I am sorry, Summer Lee's sock class, sock school YouTube instructions, and I absolutely love it. And I think that she is fabulous, and she actually made me feel like I can actually knit socks again, because her directions and information and how she talks and shows every step of the way each thing that you're supposed to do really helped me, and I'm very happy with this one. I made it shorter because I really want to finish a pair of socks for myself to wear in this fall, so I thought it would be a little bit easier. Another thing that I started this month, and it's going to be here, I have not written the information yet because I started this journal in the beginning of this month, and I had to go backwards to put more information on here. I don't have as much as on this one as on the other one that I showed you, but I started this granny stripe crochet blanket that my objective is to work on it hopefully on Sundays for, I think she calls it Scrappy Sunday, and it's really inspired by the Crazy Sock Lady, that she does have something that she calls the Scrappy Sunday, and it really inspired me to start. I always wanted to start this, and I wanted to show you what I did. I have one of these organizers, and I actually put all the yarn that I like. These are all leftover yarns that I want and hope to use for this blanket, and I keep taking it out of each one of those compartments a color that I want to use next, and this is the next one I'm going to use. I try to make at least 1 or 2 stripes every Sunday. I have no idea when this is gonna end, but I'm very excited to be able to work with that. So I think this is where I'm at with that project. I really think that this is a little bit easier for me because I do, like I said, I stop once a month and I do this. But I used to use sticky notes on my patterns before, and just the sticky notes, and I also highlight the sizes that I'm doing on my patterns, so this way I don't get confused, which I have done several times before. But this here is really helping me to keep track of where I'm at, and if I, when I leave, if I'm in a place that I don't want to write in here, I write on the pattern, but usually I just put a sticky note in here. But I have to say that this one, so this is my most practical, ongoing journal for each project that I make. But my most fun and the one that I love to come back to and keep looking at what I did every month is this one. This is my pride and joy, and I absolutely love the way she did also the journal, and it makes me happy to look at it every month and see the things that I made, the things I haven't finished yet, but also to just have it all in one place, you know. So I hope that this will inspire you. I hope that this will help you with maybe starting your own journal and that you feel that it was useful. I think this is it for today, and if until next time, please stay healthy, keep knitting and crocheting, and doing what you love and that makes you happy. Thank you for being here with me, and I hope that you come back to see my next one. Thank you. Ciao.